The most addictive and most destructive drug in the entire world. Any guesses? Is it heroin? Is it crack? Is it meth? Is it weed? Is it alcohol? Is it nicotine? It's actually none of those things. It is negative thoughts. Negative thoughts are the most harmful, most addictive, most destructive drug in the entire world. And yes, I am considering it a drug because it is something that people cling on to and get addicted to very, very easily, even more so than any physical substance that you can put in your body. So you might be wondering, well, why the hell are negative thoughts the most dangerous, destructive, and most addictive drug in the entire world? Well, here's why. It's because most people in the world today have an enormous amount of negative thoughts, an enormous amount of self-doubt, self-pity, a victim mindset, and they don't even realize that they're addicted to this. And yes, it is an addiction. When you start to change your mindset, when you start to reprogram how you think and how you see the world, it becomes clear to you that negative thinking is a real addiction. You could even call it a mental illness. Really, it's more than a drug. It's really an illness. It's a sickness. It's more of a disease, really, than a drug. But for this video's purposes, I'm calling it a drug because it's extremely harmful. It's destructive. It's addictive, and it will ruin your life. And it already has ruined the lives of so many people out there already. And if you want to get into a technical discussion about it, we're addicted to negative thoughts because it releases chemicals in our brain, right? Kind of these, it gives us these serotonin feelings, like of stabilizing our mood and making us think that what we're thinking is okay, right? It's kind of like this homeostasis that's going on in our minds, right? And it's destroying us. And if you don't believe me, take a look at your own thoughts. Are you having mostly negative thoughts, or are you having mostly positive thoughts? And then correlate that with the trajectory and the success of your life, right? So the fact of the matter is that, again, most people are simply not aware that they're addicted to negative thinking. And this negative thinking is something that's programmed into us from a very young age, from the people that raise us, our parents, our guardians, peers, from school, our teachers. Every single thing that is said, that is communicated to us when we're children and when we're teenagers and preteens growing up, going through puberty, these critical developmental stages, everything that is communicated to us is being subconsciously understood. Even if it's not consciously understood, it's being subconsciously absorbed and retained, right? So every negative comment, every lashing out of a classmate or or of a family member is internalized, especially when you're young. And human beings are so good at mimicking others, and that's really mostly how we learn is by mimicking what we see around us in our environment. We mimic the people that that are around us, the people that we look up to. And when you're a child, when you're young, you don't really know how to discern between someone that you should look up to and someone that you shouldn't. Everyone is just someone to look up to. You basically are like a sponge and you're just absorbing everything. And so this is why it becomes such a great addiction, because it's unconscious. It's not formed consciously. It's not formed with the right state of mind. It's not formed intentionally. And the reason why it's more destructive and more devastating than any drug that exists is because your thoughts alter the trajectory of your entire life. If you're thinking mostly negative thoughts, self-defeating thoughts, if you have low self-esteem, if you have low confidence, if you are someone who believes that you're a victim or that you are susceptible to people bullying you and pushing you around, you're going to suffer. Inevitably, you're going to suffer. And the thing is, with the drug, you actually have to make the conscious choice to take that drug. And at first, it actually alleviates some of the pain, and then eventually it becomes addictive and destructive, right? But negative thinking is destructive right off of the bat. It's destructive right away. But if you're not conscious of the process of it, you're not going to understand the effects of it, right? You have to become conscious. You have to become aware of what negative thoughts are doing to you right now in the present moment, and how it's building momentum and it's affecting your future as well. So what a lot of people do is a lot of people think towards the past and they have regrets, or they have things that they're not proud of, that they're ashamed of, and they hold on to that in the present. And by holding on to those feelings and holding on to those thoughts in the present, you are creating momentum, and you are actually continuing the momentum from the past into the future. And so your life never changes that way. But once you start to introduce new positive vibrations and new positive thoughts into the present moment, and you start to break that cycle of negativity, then you start to actually change your life, and you start to change the entire trajectory of your life. So this is why negative thoughts are worse than any drug, any illness, any disease, because actually diseases, illnesses, and addictions stem from negative thinking. Because you would never be, someone who's addicted would never be addicted to something in the first place if they were not having self-esteem issues, if they were confident in themselves, if they loved themselves completely, and if they felt like they were already whole. People would never be looking for something to fill in the gap or fill in the hole and then therefore become addicted. And with disease and illness, the only reason that people get sick is because people are fearful, and they feel like they're vulnerable, and they feel like they're exposed, right? And that's also stemming from negative thoughts. That's confidence issues. That's issues with how you view your health, and how you view your own body, and how you view your own immune system, right? People who think that they have weak immune systems are going to be more susceptible to disease and to illness. That's just how it works. And that is why negative thinking is the most addictive, most destructive substance in the world. And it's something that every single human being can become susceptible to. And in fact, most human beings are suffering from it right now. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of this, that negative thinking is not something that needs to be that way, right? Negative thinking is not a feature of life, right? Now, it can be if you're programmed in the wrong ways and you're thinking unconsciously and you're not trying to break out of it, you're not actively trying to change your outlook, then of course it's your way of life, right? Because if you're not aware of it, you can't escape it. But this video, I'm trying to make you guys aware of this, that you have the power, you have the control in your own hands to change your thoughts, to change your mind, to change how you're feeling, to change the trajectory of your entire life. And so anybody out there that's watching this video that feels like they have some of the issues that I talked about in this video, self-esteem issues, self-confidence issues, a victim mindset, right? Limiting beliefs of any kind, believing you're too old to do something, or you're too young, or you're not experienced enough. I want you to know that that can be changed, and it can be changed very quickly, more quickly than you can imagine. It can be changed on the drop of a hat, okay? All it takes is for you to become aware, for you to become mindful of these patterns that you've built up throughout your whole life, and to actively participate in changing the patterns, in changing the grooves that you've built into your mind, right? So I'm going to have more videos in the future about going into detail of how you can actually do this, like exercises that you can do to actually change your thinking. But for right now, I just want to give you guys a warning and make you aware of how destructive, addictive, and dangerous negative thinking is and can be. So that's going to conclude this video for today. Hope you guys liked it. Make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.